I finished stuffing the tentacle, and all you're going to do for the next round, since it's the last round you're not going to need the marker, I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I should have, I think, 8 single crochets to finish off. So I finished round 13, and instead of sewing it together circular, I flattened it out a little bit, and you can do this in 2 ways. You can fasten off right now and leave a tail of around 10 inches, and you can sew these ends together, or you can use slip stitches by just poking through each of the holes, grabbing some yarn and doing a slip stitch. And you do this across and just continuously do some slip stitches. And my last slip stitch, just do one last slip stitch, and it will look like this. And then you can fasten off, leaving a long tail, because you're going to need to sew this onto the octopus. So I'm going to leave a tail of around this length. Alright, so I'm going to cut this off. And secure it. And I'll tell you that this tail is about, the tail I left was about actually 21 inches, but you really don't need that, it's fine. And now that you have this flat surface, the flat end here, it's easier to sew on to the end of your octopus. So you're going to have 8 of those, so you need to make 8 of these tentacles. And I'll get back to you with the sewing after you've made the 8 tentacles. So I finished crocheting all 8 tentacles, and I placed them as evenly as possible. I didn't sew them in yet, and I left pretty long tails on each of the tentacles. So let's just get started with the sewing. So if this is the top of my octopus, so I just flip it over and sew them right in through here at the desired length. So I'm gonna have them, I'd like it to be around here, so it looks like it's popping up a little. So right now I'm inserting the yarn through my yarn needle, leaving a short tail, and I'm gonna start to place the tentacle where I want it to go. And just to check, just flip it upside down, see if that's how you like it. Hold it in place, and I'm going to start to sew through as evenly as I can. I'll just get a close up here, it's a little bit hard to see. Okay. I know there's a lot of purple going on, but I'm just sewing through both sides so that the legs, the tentacle, can be secure. I'm going to sew through about 4 times. I think it should be good. And it's a little bit dangly, and I'm just going to do the side a little bit, because I really want it to be stuck on there. That, and I can check it, and that looks good to me. So when I'm good with it, what I'll usually do, I'll put through one more round, just in a corner piece or something, and I'll slip it through, I can take my needle off and I'll secure it by putting the loose end through the loop and just pulling tight. And you should realize that there's going to be a bunch of these at the end. There's going to be 8 of them. You can just secure that through the body at the end. But for now, let's just keep going with all 8 legs. So I'm going to keep placing them. Not exactly side by side because they probably won't be big enough. Maybe around here, that should be fine. So I'll meet you back when you have all 8 tentacles sewed on. So I finished sewing together all of the tentacles onto the body, but there are all these nasty little ends that we have to weave through. And normally you would have to weave individually into your piece, but instead, since we have a stuffed piece, we can just, I have my needle on one of the strings, just insert it into your piece. Try and get it through anywhere you can. Halfway across your piece is the best, but really it will be secure anywhere. Just trying to find an empty space. Here we go. So I stabbed through my needle in the middle of my piece, and now there's a piece hanging out of the octopus. Just cut it off right at the end. And now that piece is awesome. It's done. And you're just gonna do that to all of the other 7 pieces so that you have a pretty clean octopus. So I just finished weaving through my last end and just cut it right there. And I've got my very almost finished octopus. Now all you need is the features, and this is where the red yarn will come into play. It will be placed as a great smile. You might want to kind of lay it out before you put it in so you see what you want it to look like. Also, you want to decide where you want the front to be. Maybe some sides look nicer than others. And for the eyes, you have many options. You can either use black yarn, you can use buttons, you can use beads. It's just depends on your preference, really. So let's get started on that. Now to get started with the features, I'm going to start with the mouth using this red colored yarn. So I already inserted the yarn through the needle, and you just poke it right through the back of where you want the face to be. You pull it through to the front, like this. Okay. You're going to want to have quite a bit of yarn here, just in case. So you can make some corrections now and then. And the way I'm going to do it, my smile, is I'm just going to have a little bit of an arch. And I'm not going to pull too tight. And this is really up to you, how you like it, your preference. There's no rules. This is just the way that I wanted to do it. And to get started on the eyes, if you're using yarn, it's the same technique. You're gonna slip your needle through the back into the front where you want it to go. Pull through some yarn as much as you think you'll need. And I think that's about enough, so I usually just layer it. like so. And once again, it's however you like it, it's really up to you. I would say that this is fine for me. And as soon as you're done, you're going to slip your needle through to the other side to the next eye right away. Just save some time. This is what the eye I made looks like. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And I like it just like that, so I'm going to stick my needle into the head, into the body. Slide it anywhere across to the end, such as right here. Pull through, as this would be whatever excess yarn you had. Pull it off. Just gonna adjust a little bit, and when you like it, you just cut it off at the end. You can cut it off at the back also. And you've got an octopus. That's just how it looks. So now that you've learned how to crochet this octopus, hopefully it was successful. Send in your results and leave some suggestions and questions in the comment box. Thanks. If you liked this tutorial, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at lilycrochets.